Great start. At the end of the last Jimquisition, I did a little aside in the final outro section where I talked about something I was doing to fight copyright claims and content ID and that sort of thing. And it turns out that that was actually the most interesting bit of the show. Even though the episode was mostly me slagging off a Nintendo game, more people were talking about the last bit, which is quite unique to get people to talk about something other than some critic who didn't like a Nintendo game. So I decided to do an episode following up on that and have a look at what I'm calling the copyright deadlock, which is my little pissy way of dealing with copyright claims put on YouTube by a bunch of bastards. Enjoy. If you followed my work for any length of time, you ought to be aware of YouTube's long and dismal history of handling copyright disputes. At any rate, I'm opening with a primer for the sake of keeping us reminded and informing any newcomers. It's still a rather confusing, messy minefield that hopefully I can pull some sense out of. YouTube, always under pressure from corporations who need an extra $5 in their pocket, offers two automated systems that allow companies to protect their alleged intellectual property rights. You got your takedown strikes, and you got your content ID. The nastiest of the two is the takedown. Here, a company, individual, or deluded pair of hack amateur developers can claim you're stealing their work and have the video taken down. YouTube's tried to step up and be more involved with this process, which places entire channels in jeopardy and has been abused a shocking amount of times, but it's still largely automatic and it allows companies to block reviews they don't like or otherwise fuck up a content maker's work for a maximum of 2 weeks. Content ID is less of a sledgehammer option with fewer repercussions for the target, but it's harder to get rid of. Content ID allows companies to automatically scan videos for images and sounds and claim ownership of a video based on matches in the database. You use 30 seconds of a Pokemon trailer in a 2-hour video, Nintendo will find it thanks to Content ID and lay claim to said video. Now you can still run the vid, but Nintendo gets to dictate how it's monetized and where that money goes because it's theirs. Because of 30 seconds of trailer footage. Obviously, this flies in the face of fair use, but there's no oversight from YouTube and the companies or people making the claims don't care. Hell, the system is so fucked that channels like Miracle of Sound have had Content ID claims on their own original bloody music. Companies set automatic policies for Content ID matches. Usually they can choose to monetize or disable monetization completely, the latter being the more popular in my experience. It simply means no ads get to run on the video and the uploader makes no money. Some companies favour monetization, which means the ads still run, but the Content ID claimant makes the cash. This is again automated, meaning that even if the claimant has no rights to a video, which is a regular occurrence thanks to Content ID's general shittiness, they can essentially get free money simply because a robot told them they could have it. Uploaders can appeal these claims, but the claimant itself gets final say, and even if they do approve the appeal, they don't have to give any money back. Content ID can also result in videos being muted or outright blocked in certain countries, again without the target of the claim being able to do anything other than file an appeal to the claimant without so much as an arbitrator. It's an utterly broken system that has allowed for many abuses, chancer companies that seem to exist just to scam some dollars, and many instances of fair use being treated as copyright infringement without recourse for the YouTuber targeted. Of the work I do on my own channel, I'd say the Jimquisition is easily the most defensible as fair use, being a show based wholly on criticism that uses illustrative footage to make a point. Yet laughably, it's had more copyright claims than any other series I do, more than the gameplay-based impressions videos, more than the best of Steam Greenlight trailers, video after video, often for brief snippets of trailer footage claimed by Content ID, which doesn't truly affect my bottom line because the Jimquisition is ad-free and supported on Patreon. However, when a company like Nintendo or Konami chooses to monetize one of my videos, the ad-free nature of my show is compromised, and I have to be the one telling people it's not my call. A game publisher gets to make money off my work even if I use a fraction of a trailer well within the bounds of fair use on a video I have no intention of monetizing. Well, not anymore, because my workaround, at least for right now, works. It's a petty little trick at its core, but it's a trick that gives me no small amount of smug self-satisfaction. It's the copyright deadlock, and I stumbled upon it quite by accident with the Jimquisition episode Review Events and Boot Camps. This video was hit by not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Content ID matches. 1 from Sony, 1 from Activision, and 2 from Konami.
Hit the lever!
Now, because Konami is Konami, and Konami is the worst, they tried to monetize the video and make a few extra pennies. However, no ads ever ran on the video. This is because Sony and Activision also had claims on the video, not monetized, and what are you gonna do? They can't all three of them own the video. So it is that the monetization attempt fails, and you get a nice side effect of highlighting how utterly absurd Content ID is that the three corporations can lay equal claim to a single person's original transformative work. I tried to pull off the move again this week to see if I could do it predictably, reliably. It's a move the literal press called literally brilliant, thank you literally much, and to my delight I found that yes, I can predict and counter these things in advance. Knowing I was doing an episode on Nintendo, and knowing Nintendo's predilection for Content ID, I decided to deny its claim by including footage from companies that had hit me in the past. Konami, Sony, Take-Two Interactive, and WMG. Ironically, it was the latter company, a claimant for the music industry, that tried to monetize the episode because of me dancing to Chains of Love, a one-off gag that will never happen again. The Deadlock still worked, however, because Take-Two and Nintendo, oddly enough, had non-monetized claims, so the show remained ad-free. Fuck the music industry. And how messed up is that? In order to ensure the integrity of my fair use content, I have to quote-unquote infringe on more copyright. Provided I can predict when a video is being claimed, I can combat monetization attempts, but to do so, I have to get more claims, going out of my way to upload other companies' footage. And once you do that, you realise how fucking much you can now get away with. I mean, all sins are equal after that point. If I want to talk over footage of The Hobbit, I can. If I want to play status quo right now, I can. There's no incentive, no reason for me to respect copyright anymore. Respecting copyright and abiding by fair use has only ever seen ads run on the Jimquisition. That's been my reward for playing by the rules. Even if my videos were ad-supported, the copyright deadlock is something I'd still do, because if I can't make money off my own fucking work, I'd damn well make sure no other fucker can. Content ID, rather than make me respect the rights of publishers, has driven me to outright piss on those rights. It's the only recourse I have, really. So long as I can get 2 claims instead of 1, nobody wins. Most importantly, those cockheads don't win. Of course, there are risks involved. Companies still have takedowns in their pocket. There's always a chance one of them will cotton on to this and they'll make YouTube take even more steps to help them out. But I'm possessed of a reasonable confidence that this works for now. The very point of Content ID is that it's got no oversight. Most companies don't even fucking look at the claims or appeals that come in. They just set it and forget it. To skim some extra pennies off the YouTube gravy train, it literally doesn't matter to them what happens here. It's risk-free for them, and there's only potential reward. I doubt Nintendo even cares about what I'm doing here, and Konami is so fucking stupid it probably won't ever know. And anyway, part of me would love to see YouTube jump to fix this loophole, because considering it can't even make fucking thumbnails work properly, it'd give me extra ammo the next time I want to show up Google as a corporate lickspittle jumping through hoops to please its moneyed pals, while proving unwilling to fix basic shit about its own service. For right now though, the copyright deadlock is a nice little way to stick it to the bastards who set their tiny little copyright policies and then toddle off elsewhere. Provided you know a Content ID claim is coming, not terribly hard to predict, and can find some other Content ID match content to include, easy as fuck, you can at the very least make sure nobody is making money off of your work, even if it also means you can't either. And I mean, if you weren't going to make money off it anyway, you might as well make a mockery of the system and take a petty little victory as reward. YouTube, this is what you make me do now. This is where we're at. We have a system where it's actually better to infringe on as much copyright as possible than abide by fair use. A system where I'm now not worried about using whatever music or footage I like, because it literally doesn't matter whose rights I'm encroaching on anymore. Once you've taken the first step into Infringement Valley, you can't make it any worse for yourself. Basically, YouTube, what I'm trying to say is it's your fault Gina G's about to happen.
Just a little bit.
I'm gonna get my comeuppance one of these days, but not today. Not today. Thank God for me.